What's going on, folks? Fight Day live chat for UFC Vegas 31, headlined by Islam Makhachev and Thiago Moises. Um, Interest level for this card isn't the highest on my end, but as a nerd, obviously, researching every single fight, you want to always see how these fights play out once we actually see these fighters inside the cage. So, yeah, from that standpoint, yeah, I'm excited. But if you're a casual fan, or if you're somebody that doesn't really give a fuck about much of the matchups or the ramifications of them or anything like that, then I don't blame you for not really giving a fuck about this fight tonight. But it also sucks that they've decided to go back to the 7 p.m. Eastern prelim start time. I loved when it was a little bit earlier. The 4 p.m. Eastern start time is great. Even the ones where they start in the afternoon, where it's like 1 p.m. Eastern start time, those are even better. I think they even used to have the 10 a.m. start time as well. That was something dope. But yeah, back to the normal 7 p.m. tonight. I'm interested to see, actually. Let me see if I can pull it up. But I would love to know if the following fight night, which is Sandhagen and Dillashaw. I want to see if that one is actually scheduled earlier or later. Uh, Early prelims kick off at 4 p.m. Eastern next weekend. So a little bit better than this week, slightly earlier than this week as well. I don't believe I'll be watching that event live now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll try to catch up with it as soon as I can afterwards. I have a one night where me and a couple of my college roommates we Airbnb a spot in downtown Toronto so that we can all just get together, get fucked up, and just chill out. You know what I mean? More often now when we hang out, a lot of us just end up going back home, but we live all different parts of Toronto and all different parts of Southern Ontario. So it's a lot to get us all together. But now it's going to be good to just have everybody in one spot where we can all just crash wherever the fuck we want and just get twisted as much as we want to. So looking forward to that next week. That's why I won't be watching Sandhagen and Dillashaw live, but we'll be able to catch up as soon as I can. Yeah, like I said, intriguing fights on this card. Nothing super spectacular. I'm just going to quickly like see if there's anything that stands out to me that I want to talk about right off the bat, and then we'll get into the live chat here, which is pretty much what we're here for. As you guys already know, lock of the night play is Rodrigo Nascimento and Alan Baudot to go under 1.5. I believe Nascimento just needs one takedown here, and then he should be able to find the finish quickly thereafter. So that's why I like the under 1.5 there. And my dog of the night play is actually going to be Sergey Morozov. I got him at plus 125. Yeah, I think he's going to be able to withstand that first round from Taha. And then after that, he should be able to start to take over, land takedowns, and grind this fight out. The guy's a very skilled and good fighter, former M1 champion. He is a little bit hittable, I will say that. So I'm hoping that his chin will be able to hold tough against a guy like Khalid Taha. And then after that, he should be able to start to impose his will and his own game and really start to rack up the points with the judges and then hopefully take home a decision victory. Other spots I was looking at, I think this is a parlayable card. Makhachev is a decent parlay spot, obviously. I think that Rodriguez is a decent parlay spot. Lemos is a parlay spot, as well as Figueiredo as well. Maybe even Nascimento if you want to throw into that. But I expect there to be a lot of violence as well. So I think that there's a lot of fight doesn't go to decisions that you could potentially parlay tonight as well. The Nascimento fight, the Figueiredo fight, the Lemos fight, the Rodriguez fight, I should say. The man's American, Mexican American, I believe. Stoltz versus Vieira, you can parlay that fight doesn't go to decision. And yeah, there you guys go. All right, let's see what the chat is saying. Then we'll get back into this damn thing. Also, you know what? I'll wait about halfway into the stream once we get more people. But I just want to quickly plug the Dog of the Night Challenge, which is restarting this coming weekend, or sorry, at least restarting on when the fuck is it restarting? Tomorrow is the actual deadline. But I'll talk about it a little bit more, maybe halfway through the stream once we get a little bit more people in here. All right, let's see what people are saying. Dane Crack is in the chat. Whoop. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Tejas Malik is in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Don't panic ours. My man, Lock. Good luck tonight, man. Let's make some cash. Exactly. That's the goal every week. That is the goal every week. Ben, what's going on, my brother? My guy Daniel Kraus over under 1.5 for D-Rod fight. I'm leaning the over. It's gonna be a sweat, man. This Preston's guy just fucking moves forward and just throws heavy bombs, and he puts himself into danger plenty of times. So I'm not even gonna bother with that over under on that D-Rod fight. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes under. I am actually leaning the under, but I do think that D-Rod also wins. You know, at some point in that second round. That's going to be a very tough one to call. Darth Vader in the chat. Scott Vetter saying, did anybody look bad on the scales? Vieira looked, a little sucked up, but that guy cut so much fucking weight, so that's almost a fucking given. Everybody else seemed fine. Gordon was the last one to get on the scale. He didn't seem the worst, but he was very cut up. I don't think anybody stood out on the scales that was like, you got to be worried. Race Rothenbach is saying he's starting to get worried about Figs. Yeah, I'd rather take the under 2.5 than actually play him there. But I do think that he wins. I do think that he knocks him out. Tejas Malik, is the stream working for y'all? Yes, I'm hoping that it's working for everybody. Let me know. Daniel K under 2.5 Lemos, over 1.5 D-Rod, under 1.5 for his fight, and Morozov. I like it all. Chris Grieve, would you bet Fig at such high odds? I think he's parlayable. I'll say that much, but yeah, I'd rather take the under 2.5, to be honest. Kevin Holland in the chat. Don't panic, artist saying 40 people in here. Drop a like for your boy. That would be greatly appreciated. Let's work that algorithm, folks. Ben, I have all those fights that you said, and Islam Thiago not to go the distance. Just put 10 to win 113 42. Not bad. Not bad. I don't like that. I don't mind that. I'm actually picking Islam to win by decision, but not really going too hard on it myself. Ben says, Misha, again, I'm not even touching that fight. Even on my Gabby Garcia play that I gave out on the Patreon, I'm not even touching that fight at all. Gamrot by decision submission, don't mind that. Benitez TKO decision. I'm actually picking Billy to win that fight. Rodolfo and Dustin under 2.5, like that. Lemos Conejo doesn't go to decision. I like that. Nascimento Baudo does not complete 2 full rounds. I like that. It almost looks like a winning ticket to me. Almost looks like a winning ticket to me. DeMar DeRozan, I got Benitez, I got Billy Q, I got Lemos, and Tate Renault over one round. I like it. I like it. AM is saying Parlay Figueiredo, Vieira, Nascimento. I feel like somebody might ship the bed there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they all win. Never mind, reminded you guys. Lock hit that shit. Tejas Malik, Fade Vieira. I don't know if Stoltzfus is the guy, though. Dave Crack smacked Bellator last night, onto boxing UFC tonight. Yeah. I wouldn't I'm not gloating too heavily about winning on my Bellator card last night. Literally every favorite one. Like, it was probably one of the easier cards to call. Like, my dog, when I play whiffed, it was the over 1.5 in the Fortune and Mitrione fights, and there was only one underdog that actually won. It was Adil Benjalani, I believe the kid's name was. But yeah. It seems like last night was an easy event, although that Velasquez fight was way too much of a sweat. way too much of a sweat. Ben has Nascimento like it, Lemos like it, Vieira like it, Islam like it, Figueiredo like it, Rodriguez like it. All their fights to not go the distance. Oh, okay. Sorry. You're talking about, you're answering to another guy. I apologize. Planet Whisperer saying, I haven't heard anyone comment on Benitez's ground game since Quarantillo's bread and butter is going to be taking this to the ground. Any thoughts? I do think that Quarantillo does have the advantage in the grappling game if it does end up hitting the ground. Benitez is definitely more of a striker than anything. Yeah, if Quarantillo can secure takedowns on a regular basis here, he might not even have to take his Homer Simpson approach. If he just spams takedowns, he could possibly have a lot of success here. Personally, I feel like this fight is mainly going to play out on the feet, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Billy Q take some or go for takedowns a little bit later once he starts to wear on Benitez a bit. But yeah, I don't think that Billy Q needs to worry too much about what Benitez brings to the table. Big Joe Cleveland in the chat. Let's definitely cash these tickets tonight. AM said, I hit a deal last night at -105. Was he the only dog who won? Yeah, he was the only dog. Bib Aviv saying Velasquez sucks, not betting bet no more or betting her no more. Again, I'm not. I'm gonna let me say this. I don't think she sucks. I just think she came with a bad game plan. Albeit it worked out for her, luckily, but I think a lot of people actually ended up scoring that fight for keel holds, and I'm not gonna hate on that scorecard at all. But for her to still go out there and remain somewhat competitive against a high-level kickboxer was kind of impressive. But I will say this, my guy AMG Warrior Bet, one of my boys that was on the show last night as well, he pointed it out on Twitter. And I was kind of thinking this the entire time, is like, if Keelholz was slightly bigger or even the same size as Velasquez, Velasquez probably would get knocked the fuck out. There was a lot of shots that Keelholz was throwing that was just missing by a hair or two. But if she was big enough and she didn't have that much of a size discrepancy and reach discrepancy, you know, she would have been way more successful and probably knocked her out too. So, yeah, I'll look to bet Velasquez, you know, in future fights depending on the matchup, but like obviously depending on odds too. I probably wouldn't bet this heavy of chalk on her again. I'll say that. MD got a $300 parlay. Rodriguez Islam Gamrot paying out $700. I think that hits, but I think the Gamrot leg might be a little um sweaty for you. Scott Vetter saying Velasquez should have lost. Close fight. Again, could have gone 3-2 either way. I thought rounds 1 and 5 were clearly keel holds, and then anything between 2 and 4, you could give either way. Definitely, I believe it was round 4. I believe that was the closest. I can't recall off the top of my head. But I personally if you were to score that for Velasquez, it would be rounds 2, 3, and 4, which one judge actually scored it correctly in that form, but another judge actually scored it 3, 4, 5 for Velasquez. PG saying, word of warning, never use sporting bet or 10 bet. I have just been robbed a few hundred and now can't bet this weekend. What happened, brother? Freddy171 asking about propping you up. Propping you up was on a hiatus this week. A little bit of a busy schedule on both of our sides that we weren't able to do the episode. We did release the top 3 bets that we had as well. I'll let you guys know what that is right now. I've made sure to at least release the that image on Twitter for you guys for our 3 best prop bets. So our 3 best prop bets, I'll start off on my side. I had Nascimento in round 1 at +125, Rodriguez in round 2 at +400, Makhachev via decision at +115. And then Cody has Benitez via decision +165, Gamrot via decision at +220, and Morozov via decision at +225. Hope that helps. Tejas Malik, Rodriguez safe. I wouldn't say super safe. I do think he wins. He just really needs to worry about that early pressure that's going to be coming his way from the Banshee that is Parson Preston's, or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. I'm going to keep butchering it. Dave Crack, Charlo Islam Parlay -165. Yeah, apparently one of the Charlo brothers are fighting tonight in our easy money. Again, I know nothing about boxing, so. Nico, hey, Locke, I have a question about bankroll management. Let's say your 1 unit is $100 and you happen to gain 40 units over a few months. At what point does your 1 unit increase related to your max? It's completely up to you. There's a couple of people that there's 2 different schools of thought here. The one that I go with is I like to keep the same unit size for at least 6 months. And then after the 6 months, depending on my performance, tracked and untracked, and I'll let you guys know what I mean by that very shortly. Regardless of what happens, after that 6 months is when you adjust it based on what your bankroll is at that time. The other school of thought is a fluctuating unit, which is anytime you win or lose, you right away adjust your unit sizing. And again, units should always be, or at least what it's said to be, is 1 unit equals 1% of what your total bankroll is. So if 1 year is $100, that means you should have 10 grand that you're working with. So it's very that's how it goes pretty much. So what happened with me this year? In January, I started off with $100 a unit. I did end up going down on the year after 6 months, but untracked and my bets on all these other plays have been going so well that I almost more than doubled my bankroll. So I switched it to $200 a unit. The thing is, you just want to make sure that the unit sizing that you're betting, that if you go on a cold streak, you still have a good enough bankroll and a good enough cushion to ensure that you can continuously bet and then try to attempt to get that money back slowly but surely, not chasing or anything like that, but staying with the discipline unit size and the unit system. So yeah, if it's totally up to you in terms of when you want to switch it over. So if you gain 40 units over the last couple months, at any time you can switch that unit size. It's completely up to you. Blake Hager, McKee, or Pipple. I'm leaning McKee there, man. That guy looks like an absolute savage right now. Bib Aviv, Kill Holtz, one of my eyes. Glad I got the rub though for my parlay. Exactly. I'm right there with you. B Rizzle, I appreciate you having that ultimate weigh-in show on Friday nights, man. Nice to get the 3 different looks every week from guys you vouch for. Yeah, I will never bring on somebody that I don't think is legit. So I'm glad that you are enjoying that, brother. Bib Aviv saying D-Rod, Islam Lemos parlay. I like it. Horny Carpenter. What do you think about Ruiz wrestling? Can she give Lemos problems? I'd be surprised, man. Like, I don't think just because she had that much success in her last fight that she's going to continuously have that amount of success. Danielle Taylor had success with the game plan that I believe that Lemos will be able to implement, but even more deadlier, and obviously, the way more of a possibility that Lemos actually gets a finish as well. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Ruiz has massive success with the wrestling here. PayPal DFS saying Bellator wanted Velasquez to win. Fucking cheats. Don't Panic Guard seems like tonight's card is a 2-leg parlay kind of night. What are your 2 most confident legs? Well, my lock of the night play is the under 1.5 in the first fight with Nascimento and Baudot. But like, if you want a 2-leg money line parlay, I'd probably go Nascimento and Makhachev, to be honest. Again, it's a little bit chalky, but there it is. Gower's in the chat saying thanks for all your content, man. It's very appreciated. I appreciate you as well. Trust me. Greatly, greatly appreciate you. AM, can you talk about Rodriguez versus Parsons, please? I don't know much about Parsons. Parsons, short notice newcomer, has never made it outside of the second round. He's only been to the second round twice in his career, went 1-1 in both of those. He's a banshee, man. Like I said earlier, the guy just moves forward right off the bat, throws big shots, looks for the takedown, and then eventually looks for a submission, which he's able to find against some of these opponents. I think he'll struggle a bit here with Rodriguez, but he also seems like one of those guys that kind of is a kill or be killed kind of guy. I feel like he's going to start to gas if this fight hits that 1.5 round mark, and that's where I think that we'll see Rodriguez start to take over with the striking, and then eventually finish Parsons as well. I could see a first round finish for either guy as well here. So the spot that I like the most, if you have access to under 2.5, I'd like that. Fight doesn't go to decision, I'd like that as well. But yeah, Parsons is very chaotic. He could definitely make it a tough night for Rodriguez, but I think that Rodriguez should be disciplined enough to kind of keep him on the end of his jab and then get his striking going and then potentially knock him out. Gary Philbrick, questionable IQ from Velasquez. If she would use her grappling, it wouldn't have been close. I agree. House of Guards, best hedge bet against Islam. Have a sick 5-man parlay that's just waiting for Islam plus 700. Not bad. I'd say Moises inside the distance would probably be the best hedge. I'd be surprised if Moises wins a decision of any sort here. I think his only chance is either to catch Islam in a sub or knock him out. So, yeah, Moises inside the distance, I believe, would be the best hedge. Socrates, love you, homie. Have a great night of beds. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Daniel Edwards, Lemos, and Gamrot are my 2-leg. Worried about Lemos, honestly. I'd be a little bit more worried about Gamrot than Lemos, to be honest. Also, sorry, House of Guards. I think another spot that you could potentially take, and it could possibly even work out for you where the hedge cashes as well as your parlay, is the under 4.5. I know it's not as juicy as Thiago inside the distance, but there's a potential that Islam could finish this fight as well. But I do think that the only way Moises wins this fight is if he gets a knockout or submission earlier in the fight. I'm just going to whiz through a couple of these comments so I can catch up. B Rizzo saying Uncle Weezy says, according to the stats, D Rod's no stranger to the pressure. Shout out to Uncle Weezy. That's my guy, man. I want to do some more work with that guy. Very solid dude. Nicholas West saying 50 cents on a full card parlay of the underdogs pays 30,000 for those looking to increase their bankroll with minimal loss. Peachy, you've been capped at €1 or pound. I keep forgetting what that fucking sign is. I want to say it's euro. Max payout for every bet in both bookies, while 70% or so through wagering. Both welcome promos. I've been hedging, matching a lot of picks on other books, so built out to about $500 bonus. That's crazy. That's nuts. Jeremiah Green saying best channel. Appreciate the love, my guy. He's got Lemos. I like it. D-Rod, I like it. Gamrod, I like it. Makhachev, I like it. That looks like a winning ticket to me, brother. Good luck tonight. No worries, Nico. I got you, brother. Scott Vetter, what do you use to track bets? Bet MMA. I think it should be in the description of this video, but it's usually in the descriptions of all my videos. BetMMA.tips. I believe my thing on there is Lock of the Night. If you just look it up there. I am currently down 19 units on the year, but first half was a lot worse than the first quarter of the year was a lot worse than the second quarter of the year, and I'm hoping to make this third quarter even better. So I came out with like 1-2 units of profit in the second quarter of this year, but I was down big at the first quarter of this year. Really did adjust my style after that first quarter, and I feel like I got to continue banging on this type of style to ensure that I finish the year with some solid profit. Adrian Tai is saying Bays is a fraud. Lemos is solo physical. I agree. Derek saying I could see Conejo surprising tonight against Lemos. Yeah, she would definitely surprise me if she gets another upset here. I bet with the GOAT. I like Tate. I feel like the UFC is trying to hype her up again. See, it's one thing to try to hype her up, but it's another thing for her to go inside the cage and actually perform. And I'm not betting on that. I'm not touching that fight. Jose Lopez is saying I bet at a place that only allows money line for fights. It's weird. I'm from Miami. That's weird. I hate that there's so many different types of like betting ways and stuff. Like every state is different, every country is different. Let's just make it fucking universal at this point. Darth Vader, I really just want to fade Jeremy after the dumb shit pulled with close. Let's keep emotions and feelings out of betting, especially when you're talking about your money, fellas. SKD, I wish I could see D-Rob Parsons as more than a grown man with experience in power fighting a little kid. His debut, hope Parsons doesn't cause too much trouble. He could, man. He's just a wild man, such a wild man that it could possibly cause some sort of chaotic exchange where he gets the better of him. But I just like the under 2.5 in there. If you have access to that, I think that's a spot. Darth Vader, D-Rod going to get it done for Kobe. Never doubt the Mamba mentality. I hope so. David K saying, sup, brother, son in love from Denver. Denver is definitely a place I want to visit in the very near future. So shout out to you, my guy. Scott Vetter, Velasquez tried to use a grappling. It wasn't working. Very hard to take the other chick down. I feel as though she could have implemented it a little bit more and she would have eventually found some more success. She did. I believe she hit 2 takedowns on her, but there just was not enough time on the clock for her to truly work. But yeah, there were times where she tried, and Keel Host did a really good job in terms of stifling it. Mixed pressure frauds, high lock, hope all as well. What should I pick for my 2-leg parlay? I like if you have access to it, fight doesn't go to decision for Nascimento and Baudot, and fight doesn't go to decision for there's a couple fights that I believe are not going to go to decision. Like I said earlier, Figueiredo Gordon, Rodriguez Parsons, Stoltzfus Vieira. If you parlay those, I think you should end up coming out looking pretty good. Don't panic, Aras. You ever end up buying the Mercedes or Audi you were talking about a few months back? If you did, how was it driving? Yeah, I got in a 2011 Audi A5. It's been doing me good. There's a couple of things I need to get done with it, and I was kind of expecting it with the price that I paid for it. But yeah, great. I've always driven Mazdas for the majority of my life, so it's nice to get a nice car like that and be able to whip it around and have some fun with it. So yeah, damn, Panic Cars, you've been around for a minute. I love it. Mr. Savage, level 9,000. Do you think Gamrot will land more or less than 77 total strikes? I think it'll be more. Also, for anybody that was sticking around to or looking for the prize picks video this week, I didn't release one. I obviously released the article for my Patreon page. What I'm going to start doing, just because it's a little bit too tedious throughout the week to just record an 8-minute video and then release that, what I'm going to be doing moving forward is for my pre-recorded version of my MMA Lawcast episode that I drop, I'm going to it depends on when I drop it and when the props actually come up, but I'm going to try to include it in either one of my live streams or one of my pre-recorded streams where I just do a segment at the end of the day or at the end of the the podcast. So yeah. African in the chat, Morozov, Moneyline like it, D-Rod in the distance like it, Rodrigo like it, Figgy inside the distance like it, Vieira inside the distance like it, Gamrot Moneyline like it. Don't really feel good about this card in general, but that's my kind of Hail Mary parlay. It looks like money to me, brother. Hopefully we can cash it. SKD, does Baldo have a greater chance than these odds suggest under a better move than Nascimento? Yeah, I like the under. I definitely like the under. That's my lock of the night play. Is the under 1.5 at minus 145. I think it's just going to take one takedown for Nascimento to eventually find that choke or that finish. Can Music, Figueiredo, or Vieira money line? Which do you trust more? Oh fuck. As the week has gone on, I feel as though I'm going to be trusting Vieira a little bit more than Figueiredo. Leon Dog saying D-Rod inside the distance parlay with you. I'd say maybe Nascimento inside the distance. You want to parlay those two together? I think it'll be good. Philly Special 8 saying, who is this week's Wonder Boy? I hope nobody that I have a bet on. Let's just put it that way. Fuck. If Wonder Boy won, I would have came out with at least 10 grand of profit last week. Instead, I ended up, down 5 or 6 grand total, I think it was. African, also another thing that struck me was that D-Rod looked absolutely enormous compared to Parsons at the weigh-in. Parsons was more like jacked, I'd say. But yeah, D-Rod definitely a tall 185er. Gary Philbrook, who should Makhachev get with the win tonight? Some interesting matchups. Yeah, you can't really deny him anybody from like the top 8 anymore, right? You have to apparently a lot of these guys are just turning him down and don't want to fight him. And I completely understand. The guy's a fucking beast. Thiago Moises is number 14. Islam is number 9 right now. But I'd love to see him against Dan Hooker. That would be a great fight. I wouldn't mind them running back the Dos Anjos fight since they were scheduled to fight back in November if they want to do that again. I'd throw out Ferguson's name, but man, I don't want to see Ferguson take another shit kicking like that. Maybe even Makhachev versus Chandler. That's another way for Chandler to potentially bounce back. Maybe even right into a title shot once again if he beats a guy like Makhachev. I would love to even see Dariush against Makhachev. A lot of very good, interesting matchups, man. Nico, I was blown away when I found out you don't have to pay tax on betting in Canada. Yes, sir. Tax-free, baby. You love it. Adrian Ta is saying, man, what tape are you guys watching on Tate? I don't get it. Her grappling is overstated. Her striking sucks. The hype. People are fitting Renault on the age. Tate wears damage badly. I agree. I think her best trait is her grappling, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I'm not touching that fight at all. I have 0 bets in that fight. If anything, you know what? Right now, just for you guys, I might just take a little bit of a degenerate stab on Renault to win inside the distance, because I truly think that she could put the hurting on Renault or on Tate. Man, so I find it weird with Intertops. Intertops is like the main book that I'm using now. Sometimes they'll allow you the inside the distance lines, and then other times they'll only have like the specific method of victory. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to end up passing. Renault via TKO is plus 1,000. I'll take a stop on that. Whatever. All right. DJ Lo say me and McGregor have matching legs, bro. I've been watching your IG stories, my brother. I see that rehab that you're going through. Stay strong, my guy. Shermlock saying, "Are you going to tweet out all your props or any or only the props of the night? Keep up the good work, my man." Props of the night. Like I on my Patreon page, I give an article where I go through every single fight and give you my best prop and bet for the each fight along with my confidence level. But yeah, I don't really put out too much on Twitter other than my official bets. Ursul Mwambeki, 2011 Audi E5, not bad. I got a Mitsubishi Galant from 96, not bad. Sean Sullivan, do you think Islam will slow down potentially enough to cause problems in round 4 or 5? I think he'll slow down, but not to the point of causing problems in round 4 or 5. Are the Alchemist Baldo have any chance? I think he has a puncher's chance, but I don't know, man. I just don't think he'll be able to find that button. I think he'll be on his back before he even knows it. Ink 4K is saying is D-Rod and Gamera a decent parlay. I think he'll be sweating that one out, but I do think they end up winning. Jim Wallen saying any underdog's going to win tonight. My favorite underdogs on the card have got to be Dos Santos, Morozov, Billy Q. I think Stevens is going to be live, but I don't think he's going to end up winning. Yeah, those are my favorite underdogs. PayPal is saying Islam declined. Hooker wants to fight RDA because he's old. Well, RDA, I think I don't know who's the bigger name, Hooker or RDA, but I wouldn't mind seeing the RDA fight since they are already originally scheduled to fight. Ian Wen saying Jeremy Stevens KO is plus 400. Got to be some value on that line. I agree. B Rizzle's like, don't do it, Lock. Tate for the win. I just took a little bit of a stab on that plus 1,000 just for the fuck of it. Adrenalizator is saying, do you think that Jeremy and Gamrot will go to the second round? I do. Chris Heisenboodle is saying, I'll be telling everyone I told you so when Moises sleeps the great value Khabib. Yeah, if you think he sleeps him, you get some damn good odds on those props. Moises inside the distance plus 950, Moises by KO plus 1500, Moises by sub plus 1720. You'll be a rich man tonight if you are correct, Chris. Leon Nestis Dog saying, I don't see Morozov winning by finish. Does he win in any other way than decision? I think you're correct. I think decision is the best way that he wins. AM saying, what plays do you have on Vieira? What is your confidence level on him? I have no plays on Vieira personally. What I put on the Patreon is, him by submission, him in round 1. Level of confidence, I'd say maybe I think I put 4 or 5 out of 10. I'll answer your second question here. What about Billy goes to the second? I do think it goes to the second round. Free UFC bet picks in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Gross or Nuts 1313 RDA, much bigger name recognition. I agree. Free UFC bets reminding you guys that there's about 98 of you that still needs to hit that like. So if you guys haven't already, please do so. You guys don't think it means much, but trust me, it does. Gary Fobrick, not to jump too far ahead. What are your thoughts on next week's banger of a main event? I'll probably have no action on that fight, but I do like Sandhagen. I think he's a little bit juiced at this time in terms of his odds. But TJ could still have it. Who knows? TJ could possibly still have it, but I'm going to go with Sandhagen ever so slightly. Chris Grieve, I don't see the love for Billy Q. He reminds me of Jason Knight in terms of how much damage he takes. I call him the Homer Simpson of MMA, man. He just takes damage and then gets stronger as the fight goes on. Shout out to the Jason Knight fucking callback. God damn, I missed watching that guy. Billy and Gabriel will go into the second round, I believe. Chris Grieve, I think Benitez pieces him up and possibly finishes him late. I got Billy Q by decision there. Let's get this. Yep, we hit last night. Let's try to hit again. MMA Triple J in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Empty Soup, Morozov a trap play or no? I don't think he is. I personally have a bet on him. I think he's solid value there. Who's the most confident play? For me, personally, my lock and I plays the under 1.5 in the main event. Or sorry, in the first fight, Nascimento and Bado. William Miller saying, I need Gamrot to give me the candy. It will be nice if he wins. Danny Edwards saying Morozov a trap if he loses. Exactly. And unfortunately, we're not privy to that information until after the fight happens. Metalingus, Hylock the Night, Gamrot or Tate. I like Gamrot, Gamrot or Tate are going to lose. Which of them do you think will face adversity? I think like the Tate fight, I don't even want to touch at all, brother. I'd rather take Gamrot in that spot, to be honest. Jim from softball. This is my first time listening, so I'm still undecided. But you seem nice. I appreciate the nice words. I'm trending towards the like minus 350. Please, let's bring that up to minus 500. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. So one Becky, you think Baudot can make it over 1.5? I'd be very surprised. Again, that's why it's my like most confident spot on the card. You know, 8 out of the 9 fights in Nascimento's career have hit the under 1.5. 7 out of the 10 fights in Baudot's career have hit the under 1.5. Baudot looks like an absolute fish out of water as soon as his back hits the mat. And yeah, Nascimento, high level BJJ guy, seeks to finish it more often than not. And I think he'll be able to find the finisher against Baudot. MMA Triple J chalky card, which never ends well, other than Bellator last night, where only one underdog won. Gower's true or false, the future narrative of Sirgan being the most skilled heavyweight will irritate Jones to finally fight at heavyweight. I don't think Jones gives a fuck about Gon. I truly don't. Chris, why is Billy Q the dog, the other guy taking the fight on semi-short notice? Close fight. It is a close fight. I'm not going to bang on whether Billy should be the favorite or not. Jim from softball saying that sealed the deal. I'm glad it did. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Again, every fight day, 1 p.m. Eastern, you'll find me right here, not to mention all the other streams that I do throughout the week. So you got plenty of MMA content to look forward to, especially if you are subscribed to the channel, my brother. Jared Carrick saying Islam is going to finish Moises in the first round. Dana White setting up Islam to rise quickly. I'd be surprised if he finished him in the first round, to be honest. DeMar DeRozan under 2 for Nascimento Baudot fight plus Islam by decision. I like it. Hit the button. It takes 2 seconds, and that's all we are asked to do for watching. So get it done. Be a good man. Get it done. Thank you, Girls Are Nuts 1313. I greatly appreciate that. Trust me. Again, I know you guys hear it on every single video, every single stream, anything you watch on YouTube. The first thing you always hear is subscribe and like. And trust me, it goes a long way for us creators. It truly does. Got 160 people in here. I love that this Fight Day live chat continues to grow on a week-to-week basis. So shout out to you guys that join me every week. I know those my guys Craig Allen and Matt Allen over there on Fight Night Picks. They do their question mark kicks stream a little bit closer to when fight time normally happens. And those guys absolutely kill it with the amount of people that actually hop onto their stream. So I'm hoping that I can replicate something similar and make this a home for you guys every fight day. Like I said, 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, Chris Grieve, I rewatched Billy Q and Colin Nelson. That made me want to bet Benitez, hoping for some more money on Billy late so I can get a better line on Gabriel. I just don't know how Gabriel will deal with that pace and pressure of Billy the later this fight goes. Again, I picked Gavin to beat Billy. That worked out for me. I'm not as privy on Benitez beating Billy this weekend, or tonight, I should say. Vigilani was a dog plus 200. That line came down heavy. Like, I think it ended up closing closer to a pick 'em. But yeah, sharp shit from my guy Triple J right there. Made about 7 units on Bellator Parlay, constraint snowballing. You're on D-Rod Islam double at minus 200. I like those two spots. Alam Baudot goes to the second round. I'd be surprised if it goes to the second round. Or so Becky saying Nascimento finished Dontel Mays under 1.5, so I'm backing off that prop as well. Yeah, I definitely think that Mays has more, would have shown more resistance than what Baudot is going to be showing here. Irregardless, YT saying Nascimento inside the distance. I love it. Lemos money line, love it. D-Rod money line, love it. Billy Q Benitez over 1.5, love it. And Gamrot, again, I think he wins, but I think that one's going to be a sweat. But that looks like a winning ticket to me, brother. Good luck. Everyone like this stream right now. Let's boost luck. Let's get it, brother. Appreciate you guys. Girls nuts. Girls are nuts. 1313. Always remember dodge, duck, dip, dive. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. I gotta watch that movie again very shortly. Hit the like button. Chris Heisenbottom saying, sorry to spam the chat, but are you playing any daily fantasy lineups? Trying looking to put together a few lineups. First of all, don't ever apologize for spamming the chat. You are not spamming the chat with questions. I like when you guys are bringing the questions. The only spamming I'll ever say is when people are just continuously putting the same thing over and over again. So please, by all means, ask all the questions you would like to ask. But no, I'm not putting in any DK lineups tonight. At least I haven't got around to it. Maybe the degenerate in me is going to be strong a little bit later, and I'll do it. But nothing, nothing at this moment. Leon is saying, "I'm gonna keep joining this. I appreciate you, brother. Truly, truly appreciate you." Bado much smaller than Dante Mays, and he still finished him under 1.5. I agree. Bado goes to the second round with Nascimento. What do you think of that matchup? I think Nascimento finishes him in the first round. So no, I don't think it goes to second. House of Guards, Billy Q fights for money. That's a huge factor. I agree. Locke, I got Z into the LFA betting world. Now you next. See, when I went full time with this thing, I really thought that I would have more time to do the LFAs and the Bellators just as deeply as I'm doing UFC. But like, I'm at the point where I want to enjoy the fact that I'm doing this full time and not make it feel like a job. And honestly, like wanting to do Bellator the way that I'm doing UFC start to feel like a job. And I'm kind of backing off of that as well now too. I want to do UFC as thoroughly as I can, put out the 4 to 5 streams a week that I do just for UFC and enjoy the rest of my time. So I don't know if I'm going to get into LFA, to be honest. We'll see what happens. Makhachev is juiced to the tits now. He's AKA's number 1 fighter. I got him by stoppage. Look what he did against Drew Dober. That is correct. But the difference here is Thiago Moises, high-level black belt himself. I feel as though he'll be able to keep himself out of crazy trouble, and we'll see Islam just kind of ride him for 25 minutes here. Urban Men of New Jersey, are we going with under 4.5 at least for Islam Moises? I'm actually going with Islam by decision. I could be proven wrong there. No high level of confidence on that, but I'm actually seeing it as Islam via decision. Daniel Edwards, I refunded Lemos and Gamrot and played the under for Nascimento and Vieira fights instead. The Vieira under 1.5 scares me a little bit. I would rather take the under 2.5 than that, but I do think that he gets it done in the first round, just as I expect Nascimento to get it done in the first round. Zog Plakoli is saying Suns or Bucks. Suns, but they've been kind of let me down. Obviously, they went 0-2 in the last 2 games, but I'm hoping that they pull it off at home. Probably won't be betting on it this week, though. William Miller saying I lost 95% of my account. I went back to break even, and I'm down 90%. Jesus. Got to have some discipline, my man. Kenny V, does Dustin have a shot over Vieira? Personally, I don't think so. Could prove me wrong again, but no high level of confidence in that fight, to be honest. Vieira Rodolfo goes to the second round. I don't think so. Study bot videos. Who will win according to you, brother? In what fight? What fight are you talking about? Javier Maljarejo. Hey, bro, I just joined today. I need some advice. Is betting on Tate and Jeremy fights? Personally, I'm staying the fuck away from the Tate fight. Too many question marks there. I don't bother. I'm not even going to bother wasting my money putting anything on that. In terms of the Jeremy Stevens fight, I think Gamrot wins, but I think it's going to be a pretty close fight as well. But I do think that Gamrot ends up winning that fight via decision. Triple J, that wasn't a no. Keep it up, Vlog here doing God's work. Appreciate you, brother. One day I'm going to have you on the stream or on the Ultimate Weigh-In Show, my guy. Yeah, I see you doing your work over there, nice and quiet, but you need a platform like this to showcase those handicapping skills that you have. So you are definitely on my list, and you will definitely be on this the Friday night stream at one point. Andrew Ta with the $5 donation. Really appreciate that, my brother. Thoughts on how many fights don't go to the decision? Side note, Dos Santos versus Miles, in my opinion, is a pick'em. Yeah, I do like Dos Santos as the dog in that fight. In terms of how many fights don't go to a decision tonight, I got, let's see here, Stoltzfus Vieira, Rodriguez Parsons, Lemos Ruiz, Possibly Dos Santos Johns, but I'm not going to say for sure. Figueiredo, Gordon, and Nascimento Baldo. So I'm taking 5 fights to not go to a decision tonight out of the 11 that we have. Daniel Edwards, I meant under 2.5 for both fights. Under 1.5 scares me too. Yeah, I think under 2.5, you're more than safe. That should cash. Urban Man in New Jersey, we got to see if Adolfo fixes his gas tank. I don't think he'll need to fix his gas tank for this particular matchup. I think he'll get the takedown, and I think the submission should come shortly thereafter. Kenny V saying, thanks, that's not my ticket now. If he hits, I apologize, my brother, but I don't have uber confidence in either guy there. Islam versus Moises. I got Makhachev winning by decision. Ryan Grant, good luck today, Locrates. Appreciate you stopping by, my guy Ryan. So we got about 15 minutes left in the stream here. A couple things that I just want to say off the bat. So the Dog of the Night Challenge. Some of you guys know what the Dog of the Night Challenge is. It is easily the sharpest game that we have on MMA Twitter. I like to push it on my streams as well. Pretty much, it's just it goes for 10 UFC events. You pick one underdog that's either a plus money underdog or a plus money total, meaning over or under. And you can choose between 1 to 3 units that you're going to be putting on that bet. And after the 10 events, if you place in the top 10 for the most amount of profit, you get paid out with the pot. I'm just going to quickly pull up what the last numbers were. So we have a $25 game and we have a $100 game. The $25 game, the one that ends tonight, the last event for the current game is tonight. We have 53 members in the $25 game. Since I am a little bit too tired right now, I don't want to do the math off the top of my head. I'm going to be a lazy fuck right now. That means there's a $1,300 pot for that $25 game, meaning I'm going to pay out $1,300 tonight to whoever places into the top 3. In terms of how we get breaking down for the prize structure, 65% of the pot goes to first place, 25% goes to second place, and 10% goes to third place. And we also have the $100 game, and this edition that's wrapping up tonight, we have 33 members in it, which means that there's a $3,300 pot on the line. And again, 65% of that pot's going to go to first place, second place, 25%, third place, 10%. So if you're interested in this challenge, and you want to join in for the next game, the deadline for the next game is actually tomorrow. So you guys got to hit me up, slide in my DMs, whether it's Instagram or Twitter, more than preferably Twitter, because that's where I normally house and do all the standings and all that stuff on Twitter. Slide in my DMs. I'll get you guys signed up. Easily the sharpest game on Twitter. Just picking an underdog. One underdog every UFC event for the next 10 UFC events, starting with next week's card. But again, deadline is tomorrow. So slide in my DMs if you guys are interested in that. And then in about less than 10 minutes, I'll do the totals parlay for you guys because I know a lot of you guys love that totals parlay. George Menexopoulos stopping by. I saw you had a question on the stream last night, and I didn't get to it. I just don't remember what the question was. Yeah, I wish I knew which one it was, but there was a question I wanted to get to that I didn't get to answer. Hisham A, can you repeat the 5 fights again? Stoltzfus Vieira, Rodriguez Parsons, Lemos Ruiz, Figueiredo Gordon, and Baldo Nascimento. I don't think those guys go to a decision. Urban Men in New Jersey, would you be surprised out of Jeremy Stevens' first round KO? Not at all. I think Stevens KO plus 500 is worth the sprinkle if you think he has a chance to win this fight, as I believe that's the only chance I believe he has in terms of winning this fight. Smoke Signal is saying Islam submits in the second. I'd be kind of surprised, but Islam is a high-level fighter for sure. Chris Heisenberg is saying, which way are you landing next week with Yanez versus Costa? Very close fight. I got to lean with Yanez, but Costa's been making solid improvements, man. But I got to lean with Yanez there. Kenny V saying, dog of the day, Malcolm Gordon, 3 units. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Ursa Mombeki, maybe Malcolm Gordon been working on going the distance and try those kickboxing skills he learned from Bazooka Joe. He has grappling to fall back on. If things go south, I'm looking into that over 2.5. I'd be surprised if that over hits, brother. Gordon, if he wants to work those kickboxing skills, he's been doing it for the last 2 or 3 training camps at this point, but it's just he can't take a punch. He falters anytime he gets hit cleanly in the jaw. So I'd be highly, highly surprised if he goes out there and tries to kickbox with Figueiredo at all. Rick Flair is saying Islam inside the distance plus 140 seems solid. I'm actually going to be going with the decision side plus 120ish on that. Jack is saying washing up the dishes while listening to Locke. Appreciate you, brother, stopping by. Chris Grieve, I think the odds are off on Stevens. I know he's on a big losing streak, but he will fight for your money and at plus 185. I think he's worth the shot. I do agree that I do think the value is on Stevens in the fight, but I do think that Gamrot actually ends up winning. Wala Wala Dos. Appreciate you stopping by for the first time. 1 p.m. Eastern every fight day. This is where you're going to be able to find me, brother. So I appreciate you stopping by. Jim from Softball, I think Gordon would be good leverage in DFS, GPPS. If he can get a dub, he will probably be amongst the lowest owned. I agree. Yeah. For DraftKings, Gordon might not be a bad play because he could potentially find a finish. And again, going to be very low owned. I agree. Dave is still more confident in Figueiredo after face-offs. Gordon looks so awkward and scared. Not to mention he was last on the scales. He must have had a very tough cut. He didn't look the worst on the scale. Well, he was last on the scales, that's for sure. I don't think he looked the worst though. But yeah, I do like Figgy in that fight. Javier is saying, what's the best fight today to bet on? I'm replaced the Tate fight. My biggest bet on the night is the under 1.5 in the first fight. That's my biggest bet on the night. BRB saying plus 1,700 Stole Swoop by submission is a huge parlay piece. Plus 850 Tate by submission is my fave line of the night. Good luck, my brother. And Jim for softball, but he can also score over 0.5. Possibly. Hopefully. Chris Grieve, don't bet the Tate fight. Anyone telling you they have Leon on the fight is lying to you. I absolutely agree. George, yes, that was yes. I think you answered the question without realizing I was asking where Gamrot has been training. Yes, I did actually answer that. I did see the question. And that's kind of what triggered me to say that Gamrot was training at ATT. And I believe, yeah. Thank you. God damn, your memory's good. Chris Grieve backing someone coming off almost a 5-year layoff, which was during their prime, is sketchy, even if that person is fighting a 44-year-old opponent. Not to mention she just had 2 kids as well. So, yeah. Figueiredo KO plus 130, that seems off in free money. I wouldn't call it free money, but I do think he wins that fight. Who scores better on DK, Gamrot or Gabriel? I actually think Gamrot wins, so I'll be taking him. I don't know if Gabriel actually ends up winning. Bradsky, so many people on Conejo. I don't understand. She's 5 foot and under 115, fighting a 5'4", probably around 125ish by fight time, maybe more. Lemos should start her early with a strong precise striking. I haven't seen anybody on Conejo personally, so I don't know what kind of circles you running with, my brother. But yeah, I haven't seen that at all. Common Sense TV, stop helping. My wife beat me in picks. I'll come out to you. I believe I know exactly who you are. I can't help it. Shout out to your wife. She was actually one of, if not the first Patreon member I actually have. So she's a very devout supporter of mine. Ruger Kev in the chat. What's going on, brother? Ian Hawk saying what happened to propping you up. We were on a hiatus this week. Yeah, just super busy schedules at this moment in time. We did drop our 3 best prop bets on Twitter. I'll quickly go over that for you guys once again in case you guys missed it. But for my 3 best prop bets, I'm going Nascimento round 1 plus 125, Rodriguez in round 2 plus 400, Makhachev via decision plus 115. And for Cody, he ended up going with Benitez via decision plus 165, Gamrot via decision plus 220, and Morozov via decision at plus 225. So I hope that helps you out. We should be back next week, so don't sweat it too much. So what's your over on list for tonight's fights? I will get to that in just a couple minutes as soon as I catch up with the live chat here. Chris Lure in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Dan Goldstein in the chat. Morning, brother. Finally caught a live one. Misha baby weight Tate is a hard pass. Might back in the distance, if anything. Yeah, I'm not touching that fight at all. Jorge Sandoval, what do you think of this prize picks line? Islam strikes over 29. Vieira strikes under 30. I like it. I like that a lot. I do like that a lot. Evo Steph, I slapped my own ass when I watch catch a glimpse in the mirror. God, I love you, Evo Steph. Jim from softball, what do you think about Preston Parsons and his chances to win? I think he can make it tough for Rodriguez. I think he's going to come out just as he always does, like a fucking monster. But I think that Rodriguez will be able to endure it and then eventually finish him in the second or third round. But I'll say this: I wouldn't be completely surprised if Parsons pulls off the upset. Urso saying Gamrot coming from ATT, he's going to grapple all day, not even stand with Steven. Well, that's Gamrot's game even before he went to ATT. I think they're just going to help him refine it. And he's been there, I think, at least 2 training camps now, so he should be getting more comfortable. Thanks, cousin. Good luck tonight. Appreciate you, John. Stop helping me beat my wife luck. You crazy. Urban Man in New Jersey, Canelo going to try a headlock throw within 1 minute and get dropped. Yeah, exactly. Gowers, I love the intensity of trying to call the Tate fight, right? Just fucking sit back and watch it. That's it. George Medixopoulos. I know I can just say George at this point in time, but I just love saying Medixopoulos. I hope I'm not butchering it. I'm pretty sure I got it right. I have some money on Figueiredo inside the distance. I like it. He says, I feel dirty about it. Laying money on one of the fighters I consider to be among the most worst in the UFC, but he faces Malcolm Noach and Gordon, so you have to do it. Yeah. I agree with you. All right, let's get this totals parlay, and then I'm going to get out of here very shortly. Get your pens and papers out, fellas. All right. Let's be selective here. Let's try to cash this one tonight. So obviously under 1.5 and Nascimento Baldo. I will go under 2.5 for Ruiz and Lemos. I will go under 2.5 for Gordon Figueiredo. I'm gonna go over 2.5 for Morozov and Taha. I'm gonna go. Ooh, this one's a little sketchy one, but I'll go with the under 1.5 for the Vieira and Stoltzfus fight. Yeah, it's gonna be a clean card here. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do the under 1.5 in the Parsons and Rodriguez fight too. The DGen is strong in me today. Even when I just said let's try to get a winner, but let's try to make it at least a decent payout here. Yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna touch. So once again, we got Bado Nascimento under 1.5. Luis Lemos under 2.5, Malcolm Gordon Figueiredo under 2.5, Morozov Khalid Taha over 2.5, Stoltzfus Rodolfo Vieira under 1.5, and Parsons Rodriguez under 1.5. That's plus 32.41, and I will put $50 on it. $50 to win 1,600. Hopefully that comes through. All right. There's your totals parlay for the night. I'll go through it one more time for you guys. As soon as the ticket pulls up. Under 1.5 in Nascimento Baldo. Under 2.5 in Lemos Ruiz. Under 2.5 in Gordon Figueiredo. Over 2.5 in Morozov Khalid Taha. Under 1.5 in Vieira Stoltzfus. And under 1.5 in Parsons and Rodriguez. All right. There we go. Kenny V, I missed a Billy Q prediction. Am I crazy thinking Benitez? I don't think you're crazy thinking Benitez, but I'm actually taking Billy Q by decision there. Duke Cody, Francisco Figui at minus 300. He's nowhere near the level of his brother. He beat Jerome Rivera, who went 0-4 in the UFC. Not saying Malcolm Gordon's sick, but he got a bunch of finishes on the regional scene for sure. I would feel much more comfortable with the under 2.5 than playing Figui there, to be honest. David Castillo, who would win in a fight, Jerome Rivera or Malcolm Gordon? Ooh, tough one. Dan Goldstein, I was all brave on fitting Vieira, but all you sharps scared my ass off that bet. Still can't back him. The way he exposed himself last fight should be a felony. Yeah, I just don't think that Stoltzfus is on that level of being a guy that's going to stifle Vieira. Albazi and Mudarji would smash Francisco as well. I agree. George saying Locke chose violence. I definitely did. MMA Triple J saying violence parlay. Absolutely. I will parlay all the picks at once. Good luck. Makes pressure for us saying home court advantage will let the Suns win it. Suns in 7 NBA finals often go to 7. It would be nice if the Suns win it. What about Benitez Quarantillo over 2.5? A little bit skeptical about that, just slightly, which is why I'm staying away from it. But I do think that Quarantillo wins by decision. Carson is saying, I got a boosted parlay with Betwave, Vieta, Gamrot, Tate was 3.5, now times 6. What do you think? Tate is the only one that really scares me there. I want no part of that fight. Zero. My guy Jazz Shergo in the chat. What's going on, my brother? Study bot videos. Who will win according to you, brother? Islam or Tiago? I already said Tiago. Or sorry, Islam. I like Islam Makhachev there. Will Lemos knock out Montserrat? I believe she will. Can Jeremy Stevens win a decision? I'd be surprised if he does. I think his best way to win the fight is by knockout, and I think that's roughly around plus 500. So decent odds there if you think that he gets a win. But I'd be a little bit surprised if he wins a decision, to be honest. Dan Goldstein, good luck today, brother. Happy hunting. Likewise. Oliver M. Does Nakamura have any chance at all? I believe he has a chance, which is why I'd rather take the under 2.5 at this point. Rich G saying I don't think Tate wins. I'm picking her to win, but I have zero confidence in that. BRB saying I don't like Gamrot tonight. I don't blame you. I think the value is on Stevens for sure. All right. We have hit the 1 hour mark. Like I said, if you guys are interested in the Dog of the Night Challenge, hit me up in the DMs on Twitter. And yeah, that's about it. I don't want to talk too much longer. Good luck on your bets tonight. And maybe I'll do a lucky late night. I'm not even sure. We'll see what happens. Good luck on your bets tonight. And I'll see you guys next time.